Welcome to the Wed Pro Podcast, the show for wedding professionals and business owners.
Each month, we bring you top industry experts, business chat, and hints and tips to grow your business.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Roxy.
Welcome to the Wed Pro Podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wed Pro Podcast. Hope you're all doing really well. Today, we are joined by the amazing Sue Wlide from Dunn Crafting. Welcome, Sue. How are you
Hi,
today?
it's lovely to be here.
So lovely to have you on. So today we are not going to be talking about kind of just your business, but we're also going to be chatting about mindset and how we can, overcome some of the not so amazing thoughts and feelings that we all have. Because, when we are running our own businesses, it's very easy, I find, to concentrate on the business side of the business instead of that, when actually we need to look after ourselves and our minds as much as we do the rest of our business. Because don't know about anyone else. I can totally relate to that. I don't know about you, Sue.
Yeah, completely. You end up by getting swamped and faced with a mountain that you feel you can't climb.
That's it, yeah. And I think there has always been a little bit of a stigma maybe around talking about, mental health and mindset. But I think more recently, especially on social media, I've noticed like a big shift in, the amount of people that are openly talking about it and the response that they're getting. And the response that I've seen is everybody has been through or is going through, kind of something that they're maybe struggling with, or even if it's just maybe you're getting that imposter syndrome, which is something we'll cover a little bit later on this podcast, or just anything that's getting you down or whatever. There are things that are really simple to do that can really help you feel a lot more positive about your life, your business, whatever it may be. And we'll cover some of those things today, because I can hold my hands up and say, it's not all plain sailing for me. We have a huge community of over 10,000 wedding businesses on our Facebook and over 3,000 on Instagram. And on the face of it, obviously, everybody's got a business face. And I am very, very good at putting that business face on. And everyone will say, oh, Roxy, you've got it going on. Like, how are you girls so together? You've got children, you've got partners, you're running this global kind of thing. Let me tell you, it's not all plain sailing for me, and I don't mind saying it. I think it's important that people do realise that I have struggles. We have struggles like everybody else.
Sure, absolutely. We all do. I think that we are very good at putting on our public face. Mm-hmm. And actually, when you think about it from a logical point of view, if we all went about our daily business, the things that we need to do every day, weeping and wailing, society would close. It wouldn't function at all. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't actually mean that we shouldn't address those underlying problems that people have and acknowledge them.
Yes.
People's feelings are what they are, and they shouldn't be sort of brushed aside simply because I'm all right, Jack. You can't do that. It's not on.
Isn't it easy when somebody says, hey, how are you? You go, yeah, I'm fine, thanks. When actually, maybe...
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. My mother said to me that she stopped asking people how they were because she was afraid they might tell her.
Yes. I could totally relate to that, yeah. But I started going, how are you? They go, yeah, good. Yeah, but are you really okay? And when I was not feeling very good one day, I was on the school run, and another school mum who I've not even known that long, she was like, hey, Roxy, how are you? Are you all right? And I literally went, no! And I cried. She was like, oh, my life. But you know, I said, well, you asked me. And actually, for the first time, I think that was the first time I had ever let anyone see anything other than Happy Roxy that wasn't in my immediate family. And actually, although it was probably a little bit, she was probably taken aback by it a little bit. Oh my God, it felt better after I'd actually been honest with myself maybe as well and said, no, actually, I don't think I am okay. But before we dig in too deep, tell us all a little bit about yourself and your background and all the amazing things you get up to.
Right. Okay. Well, my daughter and I, just like a sort of a thumbnail sketch, my daughter and I started an Etsy shop in 2013. We didn't have a clue of what we were doing. Absolutely not. It just seemed to be a really good idea at the time. We were making quilted Christmas balls that Karen's really good at doing. Anyway, fast forward a couple of years to 2014, and I was in a job I absolutely loved in a secondary school as a sixth form centre administrator. And it went pear-shaped, nothing to do with me or my job or my team. But that year was the most unhappy year that I had. And I decided it was time to step away because actually it was making me miserable. Mm-hmm. So I did that, and I decided that this was my opportunity to work on my Etsy shop and really make a go of it, right?
Yeah.
So I learned a great deal about SEOs and about marketing, and I followed a guru who'd, talked about Pinterest, all the stuff that you need to know to get a successful Etsy shop.
Yeah.
Was it hugely successful? No, not really. As time went on, I discovered silk flowers because I specialize in silk flowers.
Yeah.
And I started to develop my own style. And I realized that Etsy wasn't enough.
Okay.
But because I'm not college trained and because I'm self-taught and I don't use fresh flowers, I can't call myself a wedding florist. I can't call myself a florist because I'm not a real florist because I don't use fresh flowers, right?
Okay.
All right. So here comes the imposter syndrome. So I found a business coach, that the wonderful Kerry Ashby of Kerry Ashby Coaching, and I met her a year ago. Mm-hmm. And I did a course with her on goal setting and strategies. And there were about 4 or 5 other florists there, all of whom use fresh flowers. And if I could have crawled and fitted under the table, I would have, because I didn't feel as if I belonged. Mm-hmm. And Kerry stopped that completely. Yeah. She stopped it completely. She said to me, "You are not a hobbyist. You are a businesswoman.
Yeah. You
have a business. Change your thinking." And I thought to myself, it was a light bulb moment. I thought, oh my God, I'm not a hobbyist. Etsy is so going to go. It really, really is. So we moved on from there. I did some more courses. I joined her Rebel Florist Club, and I found through her a mind coach called Gemma James, and she's a law of attraction advocate, and she does personal development and mindset coaching for female entrepreneurs, right? Mm-hmm. So she taught me about positive mindset and about looking at what I want out of my business. So I actually had an hour's session with her. And I was able to, with her guidance, I was able to get clarity about what I wanted out of my business and why I was doing it. Okay. And then at that point, she said to me, right, now you've got clarity about what you want about your business, what you want from it. What is stopping you? Mm-hmm. So we did a bit of a brainstorm. I wrote down a whole load of things. I can't do X, Y, and Z because. And it was a sort of thing like, nobody's going to buy from me because I'm not a real florist, right? If I do IGTV videos on Instagram, nobody's going to listen to me because what I say isn't worth listening to. All that sort of stuff. And she said, right, okay, let's change the language. So you write down, I could do X, Y, and Z. I can do IGTV videos because I have something to say. And she also taught me about having a gratitude journal as well. Now, do you have a gratitude journal? Is there something you can use?
I don't have a gratitude journal, but this is something that I've written actually in my notebook this week to kind of look into and get on the bandwagon of the gratitude journal.
Right, okay. How it works is this. If you start off your morning on a negative note, you get out of bed, you stub your toe, you get in the shower and you find you haven't got any shower gel and your hair's wet, and thereafter everything in your day seems to go wrong. What it is you've got two brains, your intellectual brain and your emotional brain.
Yeah.
And your emotional brain picks up on repetition. And if you keep saying, I'm having an absolutely crummy day, your emotional brain is saying, oh, right, okay, she likes crummy day. So let's look for things that are going to reinforce that. So you end up, without even realizing what you're doing, you end up by looking, or not looking so much, but noticing the negative, right? Okay.
I'm nodding along here like, I can totally relate to this, and I know that others can too. Even if there's good going on around that, then you're still
Absolutely. So you start off your day on a positive note. So before you get out of bed, you think of one thing that you're grateful for. And it could be that your house is warm because it's really cold outside. It could be that when you stick your head out of the window and take a deep breath, you're breathing in crisp, fresh, cold air that makes you feel alive. It could be that your little one is bowling down the passage towards you and you know she's going to jump on you and give you a hug. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be anything big. It doesn't have to be anything small. But biologically, which is really interesting, I love the sciencey bits here. Yeah. Biologically, you cannot be negative while you are thinking a positive thought, right? So you start your day off on that positive note, and your brain picks up on that and says, oh, Susan likes positive stuff. Let's notice more positive things that come along. And it builds on itself. And what I do I don't always write first thing in the morning. I did to begin with. But usually at the end of the day, I reflect on my day and I write down the things that I am grateful for. So I go to bed on a positive note. What I did do, using that same journal to begin with, when I first started working on my mindset, I would use affirmations.
Oh, yes, I was just going to talk about affirmations.
Yeah, affirmations are amazing. The thing is that they can't be used mechanically. You can say, I am amazing. Does that sound convincing? No. You need to really feel it and really believe it. And Gemma taught me about superhero poses, which I chatted to you about last week.
Yes, yes. Tell everyone all about them as well.
Well, if nothing else, it'll make you laugh, and that will lift your spirit. So what you do is you think of your favorite superhero, okay? And it can be, I don't know, Captain America. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't matter what gender it is.
Yep.
It can be Superwoman, Catwoman.
Anyone that you're looking up to as your superhero, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. So you put on a superhero pose, and that can be hands on your hips, head up, chest out. It can be arms in the air, as if you're punching somebody, but just whatever. And you hold that pose for 2-3 minutes and take a couple of deep breaths and tell yourself, I am outstanding. This is going to be an outstanding day. And you will feel so silly that by the time you finish, get somebody to take a picture of you and post that up on Instagram. And I tell you what, by the time you've finished, you will actually end up by having a terrific day, because you've without even realizing it, you've taken on the superhero mentality. And
what I love this so much, and what I want you all to do that are listening, and I hope you all are going to play along with this, is I want you all, and I'm going to do this too, and I hope you're all going to do it too as well, Sue, is we're all going to do our superhero poses, and I want you to take a photo, and I want you to upload it to upload it to your Instagram stories and tag us in them, #TwizzingGlobal, #superhero pose. I want to see them. I want to see all of your superhero poses, and we're all going to probably feel a little bit silly, but like you say, by the end of that, you're going to feel so empowered.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
The superhero, the better. Like I said the other day when I was talking to you, get the hairdryer for the wind machine. Like, if you want to dress up, go for it. But I just want to see the superhero poses.
Yeah, it's a great plan. Great plan. I was listening to the radio the other day. I listened to Radio 2 in the morning with Zoe Ball, and she was talking about some sportsman. I don't know who it was. And she said, oh, he's such a goat. And I thought, what? Why would you call a super duper sportsman a goat? What it stands for is greatest of all time. And the thing about goats is that they are confident and sassy and kick-ass, and they do not back down from any sort of challenge. So we need to be goats because we can be the greatest of all time.
Of course we can. All we have to do is believe. And what I have found is all my worries and all my imposter syndrome and anything that I've ever worried about, it's all mindset. And I know I probably, before I started twizzing, maybe a little bit earlier than that, when I wasn't so confident, I was like, I don't believe in any of that mindset, fuddy-duddy stuff. But actually, it is all about what's going on in your mind and how you're feeling and how you process your own thoughts, because there's lots of different ways you can process your own thoughts. So instead of, telling yourself, I can't do this, I'm not good enough for that, I'm not like those other wedding businesses, I'm not a business person. The more you tell yourself you are those things and you can do those things, and it does take practice, like, don't get me wrong, everyone, it isn't always easy. And you might feel silly, but no one can hear what's going on in your mind anyway. So I just kind of, as I'm walking around the house, maybe tell myself how great I am. And God, it does feel a little bit cheesy, but it's definitely getting easier. And the more you say it, the more that you put your mind in that positive mindset. Positive mental attitude is completely everything. It is the key to happiness.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And the thing is that as business owners, irrespective of what our field is, if we don't believe in ourselves and in our businesses, why should anybody else? Mm-hmm. So you start with yourself and you work on it, and it is transformative. It really is. You met me about 18 months ago.
I did. And you are a completely... well, not a completely different person, but just the aura, everything about you. When we recently had our online twizzing kind of meetup, I left that meeting like, oh my life, like this is a different Sue to what I met when I was doing your social media review. When was that? Like 2019, so a couple of years ago. I was like, what? How have you done this to yourself? Because the way you speak, the way you hold yourself, the things you say, you just come across so confident, and so, you inspire me. This is something about you where I just go, I don't know, you just warm my heart. You really do.
Well, Roxy, I was standing in front of the mirror the other day. Yeah. And I've been sort of thinking about this, how different I feel now. And this is the real me.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I have arrived.
Exactly. I was saying to myself, I'm back. Oh my God, I am absolutely back. That the people that I grew up with when I was a teenager, they would recognize me.
this is who
right?
you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as you go through life, things knock you down. And when you come up and you have major incidents in your life that do knock you back, it hammers your self-confidence and your self-belief. And it is by working on your mindset and actually realizing, I really bloody am amazing. I can do terrific stuff. People are interested in what I have to say. And it builds on itself, and it's self-belief, and it isn't being proud or blowing your trumpet or anything. It is just acknowledging that actually every one of us is unique. Every one of us has life experience that is worth hearing about. And on social media, we need to turn up. We need to tell our stories and appear completely genuine, because people buy from people.
They do, yeah. People definitely, and it's that, again, we always say quite often that know you, like you, trust you. If your clients can relate to you, I mean, you tell them whatever you want to, but you don't have to go in deep with like, here's my life story. But if you can be relatable, people warm to that, and they go, oh, this is more than just a business. They're a person too, like, and I can relate to them. And that is a really, really important thing kind of to get out there. Let's talk about the positive affirmations. So the funny thing is, like kind of the mindset and all that kind of stuff that I didn't know, I wasn't not keen on it, but I didn't really know anything about it until I started kind of looking into it. And then just the beginning of this week, so just a few days ago, I've been creating kind of how to have a success mindset workbook for Twizzing, and also I've been making affirmation cards, and by just making those cards I was in a good mood after that. I'm not joking. I must have made 30 of them, and because I was making them myself, and I sat and I really thought about these feelings, and I was like, this is great.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Now, when I first joined Gemma James's Abundant Collective, she very kindly sent me a little postcard, and it has on the postcard the words "abundance flows into my life every single day." Yeah. Right? That's stuck up on a board in my kitchen. So I look at it every day, and it's a whiteboard, and I have written around that things like, I am creating my ideal life.
Yeah.
The affirmations, it all has to be in the first person. It's right to say you are amazing. Well, who are you referring to? Mm-hmm. Mary Jane down the road? No, I am amazing.
Yeah. What I like about affirmation kind of cards and phrases is they're so kind of personal to you. Like there's lots of what I found is there's lots of different styles and like the wording types, and what one phrase does for one person might not do for another, but that's
Absolutely.
it. You found the few that you think, yeah, these are me, because that's what happened to me. I was like, oh, these are so me.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are two little tricks that you can do, which I do. I have an alert on my phone that I programmed in, and it rings every half an hour from 10 o'clock in the morning until 12:30 in the afternoon, from Monday to Saturday. And it just says abundance flows. And that reminds me, actually, I am surrounded by abundance. And it's not just money, it's everything. Everything about my life is a gift, is full of abundance, and it brings me joy, right? The other thing is, every time I order something from Amazon, I make it a gift, right? So I'm buying vitamin E capsules, really boring, mundane stuff. I make it a gift, and I send myself a message.
Oh my gosh.
This is from me to you because I think you are bloody amazing. And it comes in a box, and there's a little message, and I think, yes, I am amazing because I've just told myself I am.
Oh my, I'm taking that tip. Like, that is fantastic. Again, it might seem a little bit, cheesy or whatever, but my gosh, like self-love is so important.
It is. It is. And the thing is, when your stuff from Amazon arrives, you might actually be having a crummy day. So it arrives, and your past self is sending you a message to say, doesn't matter what sort of day you're having, you are terrific.
That might just be the little thing that completely changes your thought process for that day. Like, fix that switch, and you go, oh yeah, I remember that now. Like, sometimes I forget I've ordered stuff as well. So this is going to be amazing for me, because I'll be like, oh, a package, and I'm going to go, oh, it's from me. It's got a note.
Yeah, exactly.
So amazing. So, kind of when you started with your kind of coaches and things like that, how long was it before you were like, oh, I can feel a difference, or was it a battle in your brain, or did you find it easy?
It took work. It took practice. I was absolutely determined to do it. And I'm an Aries, so I don't let go with stuff. I'm a goat.
So is my husband. He's an Aries.
Actually, no, I'm a ram. Anyway, I think I don't want to actually put a time on it, because it's ongoing. But it kind of started just on lockdown, and I didn't regard lockdown as a catastrophe. For me, it was an opportunity to work on my business rather than in my business, and to tackle all those mind monkeys. And I'd written a whole load of goals down through the workshop that I did with Kerry. And I remember at the time thinking, yeah, right, okay, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, okay. I mean, I've paid for this workshop, so I'll go along with it.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at that grid again until December this year, when we were going through a sort of revisiting the year, what had worked and what hadn't worked. And I opened up this sheet that I had folded up on my desk, and I have achieved every one of those goals.
Yes.
Without even realizing what I was doing. And I thought, oh my God, a year ago, none of those goals seemed to be even sensible.
Yeah.
Because of where I was mentally at the time. And over the last 12 months, it's all kind of come together in the most amazing, magical way. And I get up, I don't want to sound cheesy, but I do get up in the morning with a buzz.
It's almost like you have little birds flying around you all the time. That's the impression. It's just so nice.
Like Snow White in a Disney film.
You're so smiley, and so you can just see like the happiness is radiating from the inside. And I think that's the important thing, is that, when you're feeling that good, that you're just oozing that much happiness, that like it's like you've got sun rays. And I want everybody to feel like that. And that's why I wanted to, do this podcast and keep this conversation going. And I'm not going to be quiet about it ever. I have decided that it is my mission, because nobody should have to feel, that sad or that stressed or worried or anxious about their life or their business, that they, that they don't feel themselves. I've been there, before Christmas. I wasn't in the best place, but I've taken the steps I need to take to, make myself feel better. And like you said, it doesn't happen overnight. And this is why I asked this question, because to make yourself feel better, sometimes it does take a little bit of work. Like it takes, it takes maybe some acceptance that things aren't going as well as what you would like them, regardless of what others think. Because for me, as I was saying about this, happy Roxy, I walk out my house and I know all of my neighbours that live here, and I'm like, hi, hello, good morning, and they talk to the kids, and I got to the point where, everyone just thought I was really happy all the time. I've got a son that's got additional needs. It's been a roller coaster of a ride, 2020 and into 2021. And I got to the point where I just kind of broke, because I couldn't be that happy Roxy anymore, because probably secretly inside I should have accepted quite a while ago that I was starting to go down a route of struggling, but I didn't realise I was. And then it just kind of all came crashing around. But now I can totally see the signs of when I'm not feeling very well. It's very strange how I went
absolutely.
Before.
Yeah, it's on a very sort of trivial note, it's how you feel when you get over a cold. You don't realise how lousy you feel while you're in the midst of the cold. And it's only when you actually feel well or feel better that you look back and think,
hold on,
it's a bit rough.
Yeah, like, oh, that's why I felt like that. And that's why that happened that day. But even it was hard for me. It's not now, because I've kind of got over myself and I've realised actually that almost everyone or has gone through this or is going through this or knows somebody who is feeling like this. But now kind of I was truthful to my husband and said, actually, you know what, like, I don't think I've been feeling great for a while. But because I'm the mum, the one that holds the house up.
Yeah.
Everything revolves around kind of me being all right for it to kind of run smoothly, which is not true at all, because I had a week off and my house is still standing. But, you know, to be honest, to my mum and maybe to my neighbours and say, I don't feel like saying hello today, or it's okay not to be the happy person all of the time, because that's not realistic, is it?
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, that's true. And then sometimes we do need to have a duvet day and to just take care of ourselves, and that's fine. Knowing that the next day you will feel refreshed and you will pull your big girl pants on and move on. Now, there's something that I recommend to people that I work with. I work with husbands and wives whose loved ones are living with dementia. And I do this on a voluntary basis through Tibbs Dementia Foundation.
That's amazing.
I trained as a bereavement counsellor with Cruise Bereavement Care. Long time ago. I was with them as a trainer and a supervisor for 23 years. And then I stepped away because I had 2 major bereavements in a year. And a couple of years later, I lost my mother and my mother-in-law within 6 days of each other.
Oh, my goodness.
And then a couple of years later, I joined Tibbs as one of their counsellors. Anyway, long story short, what I recommend to these people that I work with is using a worry tree. When you feel that you've got a mountain to climb, no matter what it is, nobody ever conquers Everest by starting at the top. So you start in the foothills and you do a little bit each time. But it's very easy to get into a spiral of saying, I can't do this because it's too big. I can't, it's the I can't. The mind monkeys are sitting on your shoulder saying, yeah, I know you don't like this, but there's no way out. You may as well just crawl into a hole because there's no way out. Well, actually, there is. And this is how the worry tree works. You get a piece of paper and you divide it into 3 columns. And on the first one, you write down all the things that you have to do, or you feel you have to do, that you're struggling with. The middle column is, can I do anything about this, yes or no? And you just put a tick or cross next to each aspect. And the ones that you put a tick against, yes, I can do something about this, identify what it is that you can do, or whether or not there is somebody who can help you do it. And the ones that you can't do anything about, let them go, because you can't do anything about them.
I really, really like that tip. Quite similar to my kind of tip that we spoke about earlier is I now do this thing called worry time, which has completely changed my mindset, because what I've learned is thoughts, we must have 50,000 thoughts a day just going round, and we can't control when they come and when they go, because that's what thoughts are, right? It's just a thought. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are worrying, but the ones that I don't particularly like thinking about, or like the anxiety ones in me, I literally talk to them. I literally say, hey, you anxiety, I acknowledge, what you're saying, but actually I'm not going to think about you now. And I set myself a worry time every day, and it's 6 p.m. and I say, I'm going to think about you later. And I put it in the worry time area of my brain, rather than suppressing that thought and it keeps popping back up and you're pushing it down and it's coming back up. You've kind of picked it up, you've gone, oh, I'm going to talk about you later, shoved it in the worry time area. And what I found is, I think I counted yesterday. Yesterday, I think I said that 6 times to myself. And then when it got to 6 p.m, honestly could not remember what those worries were. I just remember saying, right, I'm going to count how many times today just to see. And it was 6 times, but I couldn't remember what they were. And it's like, for me, as soon as I get that thought, I don't even let like the first few words of it come into my brain. I stop it, nip it in the bud, and it has literally freed my mind.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
So the worry tree and the worry time, that's kind of team dream right there, because you can do Sue's worry tree, to write down those things, and then the stuff that really flares up, get it in worry time. Like, there's 2 amazing steps there that can really, really help you not feel stressed, or maybe you feel anxious, because that's what anxieties are like what ifs, aren't they? Like, what if this happens?
Yes.
What if that's going to happen? Oh no, if I do that, what if then like they say that, or what if I try and be like that and it doesn't? It's just all what ifs. And you like you were saying, we can change them to, I can do this, and I know I'm going to do that, because then this is going to happen. And it all ties into mindset and that imposter syndrome as well, doesn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't get imposter syndrome as much now, but it's very easy to feel like you're not good enough, or you're not as good as that other person. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think the slippery slope is when we start comparing what we do with what other people do and what they're getting. For example, I'm in this florist club. Some of us deal with silk flowers, but an awful lot of the ladies in that group don't, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we get posts from members who say, oh, so-and-so's managed to get this number of orders and that sort of thing, and I'm feeling really sort of useless, and that none of my stuff's good enough. And then they post up photographs of this absolutely stunning work. And the fact of the matter is, we are all unique, and nobody can do what we do. Nobody. I can't be Roxy. I can't do what you do. And you can't do what I do. And another silk florist will do her thing, and she can't do what I do, because we are all unique. Everything that we do is peculiar to us. So comparing what I do with somebody else is actually pointless.
It is, yeah.
Because it's my stuff. I might pick up tips from them. You can, just the same as we've been discussing today, sort of tips and tricks about how to help each other and how to help ourselves.
Yeah.
But how you actually do it is yours.
That's such a good point. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, especially in this day and age, maybe the young generations that are coming through, social media has got a lot to answer for comparing, especially, like the Instagram kind of, but it's not good for your mental health, I don't think.
No, absolutely. Because the thing is, nobody knows that what anybody posts on Instagram is true.
No.
You just don't. I mean, I've seen some hysterical video clips of a sort of tall, leggy person who's able to put her body into the most extraordinary positions and look graceful and beautifully groomed in the process. And then Mary Jane is attempting to copy it and go into a superhero pose, and it is a complete and utter disaster. And they are hysterically funny. Yeah. But the point is that
It's not real life.
It's not real. We don't know what is airbrushed. We don't know what's been filtered, what's been doctored in order to create a certain image.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I purposely, and this, I mean, I love a filter as much as the next person, but I don't mind jumping on a Facebook Live into our massive community, no makeup on, with my spots showing, like my bags under my eyes, because I want to be real with people, and I want people, you know, I want you to see that, yes, sometimes I will whack a filter on there because, oh my God, it looks amazing. But also I will show, like, this is me, and I don't care. This is kind of me bearing all, because it's important that we
need to show up as authentic.
Yes. Yeah, we do, because I do sometimes fear for my, like, you know, my little girl growing up, probably even my sons as well, but definitely, I don't know, she is very, I mean, she's only 7, but she loves to watch TikTok, and she, you know, is already into like the little crop tops and all the like leggings that they wear, and I think, oh God, it's just in our children and our kind of younger generations to be this, it's not fake so much, but like put this false identity on, and that is not good for mental health. It's not good for mindset at all.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that it seems to be more extreme in this generation because of the amount of social media. But actually, aspiring to be like a supermodel has been out there for a long
time. Yeah, it's
really
just now means different things, doesn't it? I think that's the thing. So talk to me about, I wrote this down when we had a chat about this, the phrase neat.
Neat, yes. Now this is coined by Professor Steve Peters. He wrote a book called The Chimp Paradox, which basically is managing your mind monkey, right? And it is an amazing book, and I picked up on this acronym that he was explaining about the emotions that sweep through us in a given circumstance, right? And he said it's important to identify what they are, and the NEAT stands for N is normal. These emotions are normal given the circumstances, right? Expect them. You can expect to have these emotions given your circumstances. The A is accept them and acknowledge them. Acknowledge them for what they are, right? And the T is take action. Take action, take care. So what can you do to deal with those emotions? Now, you with your worry place, your worry time, that's how you deal with those particular anxious thoughts. Using a worry tree is a good idea. The other catchphrase that I picked up somewhere, I don't know where I heard it. I don't remember. It may even have been in the book, but it feeds into this taking action, is what else is possible? This is where I am at the moment. This is how I'm feeling. What else is possible? What can I do to help myself to solve whatever it is I'm struggling with? Is there anybody who can help me to do that? And then having the courage to take that step and say to your mind monkey, look, I know you're trying to keep me in what is familiar, but actually the familiar is uncomfortable. I don't like it and I want it to change. So I am going to take these steps, no matter whether or not you approve. I'm going to take these steps to move me beyond my comfort zone because I know there's better stuff ahead.
There's more out there. And I think if you don't kind of accept and acknowledge, you know, those thoughts that, oh God, I was very good at pushing it down, suppressing those thoughts, like, no. And then, I mean, I think one of my really close friends actually said to me, because, you know, I do have a lot going on in my life, Roxy, like, you can't be this happy always. At some point, girl, you know, you're going to come crashing down and you need to kind of look after yourself. And I was like, no, don't be daft. Like, I'm not like, I actually used the phrase and I really, really feel not very good saying it now, but I'm not like those people. I used to say it all the time. I'm not like those people. Like, I've got this together. Like, I've got my shit together all the time. And then I'm really sorry for ever saying that, because I'm totally one of them people, and I think everybody is slightly that kind of person.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm having a lousy day, or something hasn't worked, or I'm worried about a family member who may not be well, or whatever the case may be, I write it down. I use a journal extensively every single day, and I have done for years and years and years. Because what it does is you do have all these worries and fears and anxieties that churn around in your brain, and at 2:00 in the morning you can't rest. And that is the time that for myself, what I did was that I would write everything down, and I would say the unsayable, because you can. When you're writing stuff in a journal, you're writing to yourself about what's happening in your head.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to read it. So it's a safe place, and it takes all that stuff out of your head and puts it on the page. And it doesn't take away pain or anguish, but it puts it in a different place so that you can rest. You can look at it the next day, so you're not going to forget it if you need to remember it. But then when you get up in the morning, will you remember to look at that journal? Maybe not.
Maybe not, yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe you will and think, what am I worrying about that for? Or it might be a question of, oh yeah, that really does need sorting out. And it gives you a sense of control over your life, which may feel chaotic at that time.
Yeah, and I think, I can totally relate to that. For me, when I struggle with when I'm feeling not great and I've got a lot of anxieties and worries, I struggle with what's important and what's actually important and what's not important and what's a little bit important. I don't know. I can't organise the actually important stuff to the stuff that actually that does not really matter until I'm out of that kind of moment. And then I go, that's why I like this worry time so much, is because the important stuff will still be there at 6 p.m. when I'm allowed to worry about it, but the other stuff is not there.
Yeah.
Because
and that's also where the worry tree comes in as well.
Yes.
Because it identifies those areas, and some of them, you look at it the next day and you think, what? Really?
I think because when I'm in that overwhelming, it's just overwhelmed, that state.
Yes.
Everything is heightened and everything feels massive, so massive that you can't do any of it, and your heart's going, and your breathing is funny. But I've also learned another thing as well, when I don't really get like that anymore, but something called square breathing. Don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yes. Yeah. Square breathing is amazing. And what happens? What happens inside your brain? In the center of your brain, in your limbic system, is a little gland called the amygdala, and it's about the size of a walnut. And that is your pleasure center, and the center that controls your fight, flight, or freeze response.
Yeah.
Right? So when you are consumed with stress and anxiety, your amygdala lights up. Now, if you were to have an MRI scan in that instant, it would be a hot spot right in the center of your brain, right? But it has the effect of switching off your reasoning. So that all you're doing is you're thinking from your gut. You're thinking with your emotions. You're not thinking rationally and logically. It's impossible. When your amygdala is going, this is what's happening. So
and
by doing that, go on, sorry.
When we were like way back when we were like cavemen, that's where the
yes,
comes from.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. The saber-toothed tiger's coming up to the cave. What the hell do I do?
Yeah.
And what the square breathing does is it slows your heart rate down. When you're stressed, your body is flooded with adrenaline and cortisone, and when your heart goes bang, 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 bang. When you do your square breathing, it slows your heart rate down, your amygdala switches off, and your rational brain comes back into play. So you can then think more calmly.
Mm-hmm. It's taken me a little bit of practice. The thing that you do is you slowly breathe in for 4, you hold it for 4,
Yes.
You breathe out for 4, you hold, then breathe in. And
Yes.
I actually get a little pencil on a piece of paper and slowly draw, like, as I'm going sometimes, just to completely zone me out, and I'm just looking. But like I said, I don't really need to do that anymore, but it's so helpful. So helpful just to kind of bring you back down to kind of
absolutely.
earth.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is totally like this. It's just little simple tips that actually, without kind of researching it, you don't think that there's anything out there that can make you feel any better.
Yeah.
You just feel like you're in it, and like, oh, this is just how I'm going to feel now. But let me tell you guys, like, you can feel better. And I know it's this last year has been a tough one, but don't ever feel like you can't talk to somebody. Come into our community, have events. Just don't bottle it up. That's the main thing that I want to get across, is that it's not good to bottle it up. Even if you think you can cope with it, or even if you find it really, really hard to talk about, which in itself says that there's something going on there, because that's what I realised in me. The fact that I wasn't able to just go and tell my husband, I'm feeling a bit anxious quite often, or like I feel I had physical anxiety symptoms that I put down to illness. I was like physically sick quite often. I was in bed. Oh gosh, like I just felt so sick, and I thought that was a sick bug, but it kept coming and going, and I was like, why do I keep? I thought, took a pregnancy test, thought there's something like, what is going on? And then I got the other symptoms along with it, and then I was like, oh god, this is anxiety. So I called the GP, who actually recommended putting me on some anxiety meds, but also, more importantly, because they kind of helped a little bit, kind of, well, not immediately, but they help level the mood out. But the best thing that I have done from it is I self-referred myself to cognitive behavioural therapy. I've only had a couple of sessions, but anybody that isn't even sure if it's something for them, go and look it up, and you can self-refer yourself to your kind of local counselling service online. I did it all myself, filled out the forms, and I was told that there was a huge waiting list, but they got back to me within 2 weeks and got me kind of on the road to learning how to manage these feelings, because the medication's fabulous, balances out the mood, lovely. I won't be on them for much longer, because I think the CBT is going to be the best option for me, because it's going to give me the tools to manage, because the feelings and the thoughts are always going to be there. Now I'm going to have tools in that toolbox to kind of deal with it. And this is why I love having conversations like this, because you've taught me something, I've taught you something, and we and everybody listening hopefully has learned a little way that they can help with their little monkeys inside their brains. But if anyone else as well has got any kind of tips or tricks, or any blogs or articles they've read that's helpful with anxiety or business mindset, because it's hard, like, come and share it with us in our Facebook community, because I always say, like, a problem shared it's not always a problem half, but it definitely makes you feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's reassuring when you take that plunge and say to somebody else, I'm really struggling with X, Y, and Z, and they suddenly say, oh yeah, I do too, and this is what I've found helps. It's actually reassuring to know that you're not the only person who is struggling with whatever that is.
And it doesn't have to be a sad or anxiety-filled conversation. It can be like we've had today. I was half expecting to get halfway through this podcast and think, oh my god, my anxiety is like flaring up, but it's done the opposite, because it kind of, I don't know, talking about it is definite therapy for me. Like, I will talk to anyone about this, because I know. But it doesn't have to be, you can, it doesn't have to be the sad and down conversation, but just talking about it, it's a weight off your chest.
It is, and the thing is that unspoken fears have a power. If you speak them, if you give them a name, they lose their power over you.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, so have you got any other little tips and tricks up your sleeve, or should we go over the worry tree again, just so people can make sure that they've got it down?
Well, I'll tell you what, I have got, just by coincidence, we had some training in our florist group from an absolutely wonderful lady. I have no idea what her name is. But it was about how to deal with overwhelm. There are a couple of tips in here which I think people might find.
Yes, definitely.
Helpful.
Pens are ready for me.
So one of them is treat yourself like your best friend. Have a self-care list.
Yep.
Things that you like doing, that bring you joy, that make you feel refreshed. And that can be anything from walking to reading, anything that soothes you, anything that you love doing. And the other one is find a space to be you, time to connect with you, your quiet place that gives you comfort, and do what you need to do what brings you joy. And the last one is decluttering, getting rid of stuff, getting rid of those old conceptions about yourself that actually aren't true anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And being real with yourself. But an awful lot of our hang-ups come from our youth, from our childhood.
Yeah.
Those feelings of not being good enough. Get rid of them, because you're not that person.
No.
As a grown-up, you've got a completely different life experience, and draw the best out of that and build on it.
Definitely.
Because without exception, we are all astonishing.
Aren't we? Yeah, and we all should. Aren't we all very good? And I know everyone's going to be nodding along at picking our own faults.
Oh, God, yes. We are all our worst critics.
Oh.
And to some extent, that's okay, because that acts like a balancing factor. That's our conscience. And a sort of a mental check, am I doing the right thing or am I not doing the right thing? But it also needs to be proportionate. And to be kept in balance.
Because there's a difference between arrogance and going like, oh, I'm good at everything, and just saying, do you know what? That thing I made the other day, that is really it's really good, or it's okay, and it's good. It's good to praise yourself and be proud of yourself, and all this stuff feels so alien to us and to me, like doing the worry time and the square breathing and telling myself how good I am. It's because we're not good at this self-care and this self-love.
No. It all sounds, love yourself. It just sounds cheesy, doesn't it? It's the language around it, but actually, I think we need to change that sort of terminology, because I think what it amounts to is giving yourself credit. For God's sake, look where we are. Look how far we've come.
Mm-hmm.
And, better days are on the way.
They are. And everybody in life is on a journey. Like, I don't know if some of you may have seen the post that I put in the group a few days ago about, my struggles with confidence and where I was and where I've been able to get myself to. That's something I don't praise myself for very often at all. But really, flipping heck, like rewind to me being a teenager, for those of you who kind of haven't had a chance to have a look at the post that I'm talking about. I had a huge stutter. I don't stutter now. Like, I wouldn't talk to anybody on the phone. Oh God, I wouldn't go into shops. Never mind, I would never have said, to my future self, oh, when you're, in your 30s, you're going to have a global company that deals in networking which involves talking to people all day, every day. Like, I wouldn't have never, ever, ever all my life so far away from that person. And I am proud of myself. I am proud.
Yes, absolutely. And so you should be. So you should be. Yeah, I think amazing.
Now, like, I've not done anything out of the ordinary. In fact, I've probably gone the long way around it, to be fair. Being in denial probably about my anxiety for a little while. But it's all a journey, and it doesn't matter where you are on that journey. Just know that somebody else has already gone down that journey and can help. All you have to do is put your hand up and say, I need a little bit of help, or I need some advice, or even not even just about kind of mental health, but things in your business as well. And this is why we started kind of Twizzing in the first place, was it can be lonely running your own business, whether, you know, it's for, you know, you're looking for business help, or you're looking for mindset help, or a little bit of both. This is why we started our community, so we could bring people together and say, hey you know, it can be quite a competitive industry of what we're in, but I know we said we weren't going to say the COVID word, but now I've just said it. So currently, as we're recording, we are in lockdown number, what are we, 3?
3, yeah.
Lockdown number 3, and it is currently February the 9th. But since the beginning of this global pandemic that we're nearly at the end of now, guys, the wedding industry has pulled together. And it's been a big cloud, but out of every cloud there is a silver lining, and I think it is that people are supporting each other a lot more now. And our community has never been busier, and that's so nice to see everybody putting together and supporting each other, helping each other out with you know, whether it's you know, the loans that have been kind of given, or the grants, or business support, or mental health support. I think it's brought us definitely closer together.
Yeah, and I think that collaboration is absolutely key.
It is, yeah.
In all sorts of areas.
I totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's worth tapping into what other people do in order to pull together something.
You never know what is going to start from a conversation. And that's what I love the most.
Yeah.
That is what I love. So, guys, I think we've kind of covered all the little tips and tricks, you know, that we want you to say. If you lot out there have got any, what is it you want to share with us? Or like I say, any blogs or any, you know, things you found on the net, you can comment on kind of this feed, or jump into our community. You can find us at Twizzing Global. If you want to find out more about Sue, where can people find out about you?
I think probably the best bit is Instagram. I'm at Dunn Crafting. That's DUNN Crafting. Soon to be changed, because I'm rebranding and relaunching on the 15th of March. I'll have a completely new name and a new look. I'm in the process on my Instagram feed of telling the stories. So,
OMG, that's big!
Yeah, it's huge, and it's so exciting. I can't tell you. I do little dances every now and then when I think about it.
Oh, I'm so excited to see it. I have like everything: new logo, new
everything. Absolutely everything. Everything is going to look different.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And remember also, everyone, we want to see your superhero pose. Hashtag superhero pose. Tag us in it on your stories. Hashtag Twizzing Global or at Twizzing Global. Mine will be up. So when this podcast airs, I will be getting my superhero pose out and getting it on my Instagram. I'm so excited to do it. You wait. It's going to be a proper... I think there's going to be a wind machine. There's going to be a cape. And now I've said that, I've got to do it. Oops. Oh, it's been so lovely to chat with you today.
That's super.
I want anyone and everyone out there, you know, to feel good about themselves. And I am going to make it my mission, and I'm not going to stop talking about this, you know, the mindfulness and the mental health side of business, because it's just as important as the business side of your business.
Of course
because
it is.
Without you feeling your best, how can your business be the best?
Exactly.
So those things come hand in hand, and I'm going to break down those walls of stigma around talking about it. Everyone's going to be sick of hearing me talk about it, because they're going to be like, oh, not her again. But it is really, really important. And if anyone wants to get on the bandwagon with me, just let me know. Like, we'll be marching in force before long. If anyone out there wants to find out more about us, you can visit our website. The link will be in the show notes, and I'll put Sue's Instagram handle in the show notes as well. You can also sign up to our mailing list, where you'll get access to loads of freebies that we send out, loads of tips for social media, marketing, branding, all things wedding biz related, and also mindset things as well. That's another place where I'm going to be in your face with it. But yeah, the link to sign up for our mailing list will be in the show notes. Don't worry, guys, we're not spammy at all. We just give you the best of what we can. But yeah, thanks for chatting to me today, Sue, and I'll speak to you all very soon.
It's been a pleasure. Lovely to chat. Bye, guys.
Bye.